And we are live. All right. We have Brad Chapman. He does something with vocals. He's going to let us know what that is. Not sure. He kind of confuses us, you know. Brad, real quick, you had said something about making the audience, the end result is the audience getting it. Talk about that for a second.
Well, last week we talked about what do I consider myself as a vocal pre-producer. What does that mean? Well, the more producers I meet, just briefly because we talked about this before, they all say that the most difficult part of making a great record is the vocals. And of course, part of that is because that's also the most important part of making a great record. There's people who will argue that, but if there's a vocalist on the recording, then it's pretty hard to prove that that's not the most important thing. So they find that getting what they want when they see that picture before they actually start the project, getting it how they want to hear it, and then knowing that the audience is going to like that, this is one of the things that makes a successful producer, is what they want to achieve, is so that the audience goes, yeah, that's, you know, that's record of the year, that's, you know, 6 Grammy nominations, you know, that's whatever. And so what we're doing here is we're closing that gap, and I'm not selling any CDs, there's no videos to buy, this does not work in a canned situation. What you guys can learn here is how to communicate better, and mostly it's up to the singers to learn how to communicate better with the producers. It's not their job to coach their performers. You know, most of the drummers that come in, most of the guitar players that come in, they all, even the background singers, are usually more educated in what is the studio, how does it work. But the artists, we spend most of our time creating things, so the functional part of it kind of escapes us sometimes. So I'm getting in the middle of this, so to speak, very happily, and creating a situation where the producers are going, wow, man, thanks for working with that client, because that last session I did just went so much easier than I've ever had done before. And I just wanted to kind of make sure that everybody understands what we're doing here and why we're demonstrating this. Thank you.
All right, Brad. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what's your website?
Oh, www.bradchapmanvocals.com. VOCALS. BradChapmanVocals.com.
How do we contact you on Facebook? How do we get you on Facebook?
If you go to my webpage, there's a contact on there on Facebook, which is easier to find me, because if you type in Brad Chapman, there's a lot of us, unless you're actually already know a lot of friends of mine, which is okay too, because I like to keep that small group. But then there's also email, and there's also a telephone number. It's all there.
Okay, and Hallie Johnson, singer-songwriter. Unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about you. Oh, looks like she's frozen.
Am I back?
Yes.
All right, cool. My name is Hallie Johnson. I'm a singer-songwriter located in Long Beach, California. My style of music is along the lines of pop, neo-soul, R&B, and rock. And I'm currently looking for the right producer. You know, I'm working with Brad Chapman. He's an amazing pre-production coach, and I've been with him now for roughly 3 months, and we've made a lot of headway, a lot of progress, and we're ready to start recording, so we just need the right producer to help carry our vision.
Okay. Any idea what type of producer you're needing, what you're actually needing?
Someone who is very understanding of the emotional drive of a singer, someone who's well immersed in music as far as instruments, you know, not necessarily looking for a producer who's mostly about just beats, but someone who knows instruments and someone who understands emotions in music.
Okay, emotions being a big priority on that. Okay, and what you had said something about video.
Yeah, and I just recently recorded a cover song with Brad, and it's Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You. The video just finished editing and got all the prep work done on it, and I'll be premiering it on my YouTube channel tonight. I'll be sending out an invite on Facebook so everyone can go check it out.
Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot on air.
Okay.
2 weeks from now, we do the next one. Will you be our guest?
Yes, I will be there. 2 weeks from now, right?
Yep. So Brad's gonna vocal pre-produce you, all that live in front of everybody. Very embarrassing.
No, I'm down. That sounds amazing. Otherwise, what are we here for, right?
All right. Okay, and that's 2 weeks from now. Now, Melissa B. Her name's Melissa Bailey. I went and searched for Melissa Bailey. She said, nope, search Melissa B. Several things came up. Check out her YouTube videos, Melissa B. Welcome, Melissa B. Tell us about you and, well, yeah, just tell us about you real quick.
I live in New York. I've been singing since I was 5 years old. Professionally, I started singing 14. I've traveled around the world. I songwrite. I produce a little bit. I don't really do the musical stuff. I'm more of the type of producer where I just gather different players and then put everything together. So I hear certain things. And I'm also an advocate for computer science because also I'm a network engineer by day. So I have a nonprofit organization called Girl Geek Dinners, and I throw these dinners with 2 other partners so that we can inspire young women for computer science and then get them interested into it. And that's also with music as well.
Okay. And where are you located?
New York in Long Island.
Bill Chemick's area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my partners. Let's see. Nominated. You said something about nominated or yourself or something.
Yeah, I was just recently nominated for the Underground Music Awards for Best New Female R&B Artist and Best New Aspiring Artist.
Okay. And what was the last thing? Let's see. Oh, the Grammys.
Yeah, I submitted my song, What You Started, for the first time for the Grammys. It's my first ever experience doing this, and it's fun. It's been a lot of fun meeting everybody and stuff like that, and that's how I met Brad.
Yeah.
There's a video. There's a video out there for that one.
For
yes?
what?
What You Started.
Yes, there's a video for What You Started.
Okay, so Melissa B, What You Started. We can go check this video. All right. Brad, you wanna beat her up real quick?
Hey, look.
Car crash.
There's no car crashing here, buddy.
I'm the meanest, baddest man.
Okay.
I've already spent an hour with Melissa. She knows to be scared to death right now.
Real quick, what have you covered with her so far? Because you've done a little bit.
Your mic's off now.
Oh, my mic's off?
Huh. Can anybody else hear Maat?
Yeah, we hear you.
You can't hear me, Brad?
I can't hear Maat now. Can I hear Melissa?
I'm here.
I'm gonna type this message to Brad real quick.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
All right, I just typed to Brad. We hear you. Tell us what you've done with Melissa.
My mic's on. My camera's on. I can't hear anybody.
No one?
He just went from working perfect.
Matt, can you call me back?
Call you back?
I can't hear anybody.
What that means.
He would have to give him the link to this. Give him the link in the chat, and then he just has to re-enter the chat.
Yeah, he's about to do that now. Melissa.
Technical difficulties. Yeah.
Yeah. We ran through it last week. He actually kicked butt. He was doing all kinds of stuff to get it to work.
Okay.
And here comes Ricky coming back. Mm-hmm. Melissa. Okay. You already know the song that you're going to use to work with Brad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you sing another one of your songs so we can hear your voice?
Sure. Hold on one second.
I'm going to mute.
I'm trying to find something really quickly so that we can get this going. Oh, we'll do this one. time for you to believe in what's right and open your eyes. Don't let go of your pride. Feel what's right and you'll come alive. You just gotta believe and be free. Live a life of love. All we need is trust. You gotta keep the colors flying. Keep the colors flying. You gotta be free. Keep the colors flying. Keep the colors flying. You got the love inside. Let it shine, and you'll come alive. Don't let go of your pride. Feel what's right, and you'll come alive. Live a life of love. You gotta be free. Oh, oh, oh. You gotta be free, baby. Oh, you. There you go. There you go.
All right. 1 second. Ricky has just came in. Ricky, unmute yourself. I muted you, Ricky. You got to unmute yourself for me?
Yes, unmuted.
Ricky, this is Hallie, the young lady that Brad was talking about that he'd like to introduce you to. So, Hallie, say hello to Ricky. He's a producer.
Hi, Ricky. How are you?
Good, good. Hi, Ali.
Hi.
She was just telling us how inadequate the rest of us producers are, and that she needed somebody.
Oh,
And he pointed her to you.
Brad is wow.
But yeah, she has some stuff coming up, and she needs a.
Can anybody hear me yet at my back?
Yeah.
I hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, finally! Yeah, you all just like totally disappeared.
Yes.
Here.
Anyway,
Okay,
so I'm glad I got to hear at least the end of that vocal.
Hold on 1 second, Brad. Well, Ricky, tell us about you. And then we're gonna get to Brad. We're gonna get Brad and Melissa started. Tell us about you real quick.
I'm based in Bangalore, India, and I work mainly in scoring for film and for TV commercials for the Asian market. So my regular clients are Pepsi and Levi's and Panasonic and stuff like that, where I compose specifically for the television commercials and for film score. And in addition to that, I love making world music and world beat music, and I try to work with as many singers as possible. So that's my endeavor right now, working with singers and producing them. Yeah.
Okay, Hallie, you hear that?
Yeah, that was pretty dope. By the way, Brad's gonna beat you up for that, Matt.
Well, I don't even know.
To hear that.
Oh, you didn't get to hear it. Basically, Matt said that I was bashing every producer alive.
No, okay.
Okay,
Nothing
now
like
Brad.
fun on Sunday. Nothing like fun on Sunday morning.
Brad, what all have you done with Melissa? And then I just had her sing for us. What all have you done with her so far? And then let's segue that into you having her sing and pulling the emotion out of her.
This is a good question on something else that I do, because I am so dedicated to the artist, and I've been doing this for. Well, I've been in the music business over 45 years, and I've been coaching. Actually, I have to call myself this in the past, a voice teacher. Used to teach voice technique. And the reason I say that the way I do is because producers generally hate voice teachers, and I understand why. And in a lot of respects, I never fit in either as a voice teacher, because technique is really what I believe now, and I've learned a lot from producers, is that vocal technique is only really maybe 20% of what an audience really wants to hear about. In other words, they want to hear you reasonably on tune. They want to hear you in rhythm. They want to hear you say the words where they belong. You know, they want to hear the story, blah, 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 blah. But they mostly care about what they feel at the end of the recording. And I got to hear just enough from Melissa that you all heard her and her emotions. And that's really critical. So I've really put my whole thing, my whole life over into that. And so artists, as a rule, don't make a lot of money, because how would they have time to be artists if they were, well, generally speaking, unless it's given to them or it's a backer or whatever, they can't. So I've just kind of, through Facebook and so forth, I find people that I think I might want to work with, and I send them a little note, and Melissa said, cool, let's give that a try. So we've worked once, and the idea of that session was for us to see if we liked each other, and for her to decide how much she wants to pay me per session, so that we can maximize the amount of time we work together without her having to worry about, okay, you know, Brad charged me $500 an hour, you know, I can only pay that once a year, so that's all I'm going to see him for. No, that's not going to work in this art area. People might believe it works in the technical area. It doesn't really work there either, but I was part of that world where I was charging a lot of money, and it just, and that's all, unless all you care about is the money, it just doesn't really work. So that's the meeting that Melissa and I had, and for whatever reason, most things led to vocal technique, and I think part of the reason, I say for whatever reason, I really kind of know. Part of the reason is because Melissa's already very good with emotion. I heard that in a recording. That's one of the reasons I wanted to work with her. So when people contact me, if they'll send me a bio and a CD, you know, or a link so that I can hear what they're doing, then that gives me a chance to decide whether that person I think would fit in my schedule and that we could work well together. So what we're going to do here is a little bit different. This kind of would have been what I normally do in the second half hour. The first half hour, I do warm the people's voice up, because that's critical for how well they feel the song emotionally. If they don't warm up, their voice becomes a distraction rather than assistance. And the whole point of the voice is to express emotions, not to be in the way and not to be the main focus. And then also there's a couple of things in her songs that were distracting from her emotions, meaning some notes that were not as good as they could have been under the circumstances of what she was trying to feel, what she was trying to say. So I kind of take that role on, that the producer takes on at that moment, and say, well, you know, I can't really feel that as much as I think I could, Melissa, just like a producer might say to you. Let's make a slight modification there, free yourself of that issue, and then of course she does that in her own practices and gets it out. And then we'll go back to strictly feeling the emotion and really getting a great performance together for your producer. So what we're going to do now is she's already sung for you all. I heard a little bit of it at the end, and I have heard the recording. I heard the produced recording. So I'm going to start by just asking Melissa a couple of quick questions. So Melissa, go ahead and put your mic back on.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that song that you've done, is there any place in that song that you feel you're not 100% attached to, as far as like from beginning to end? Like, I know you know the story, you wrote the story, you know the song, you know everything about it. But as you're singing from beginning to end, is there any place that you don't feel as connected to and you'd like to be a little more connected to it?
I would say more like when I'm getting before the chorus line. Around there's like pre-chorus around there. There's certain parts, yeah.
Now is that a repetitive part, or is it different each time?
It's repetitive, I think.
All right, good.
If I recall.
Make it easy for today's example. Okay, so the verse means what to you? What does the verse feel like to you, and why does it feel really good right now?
Well, it's about being yourself, and the song is about being free, about being yourself and living within your skin, within your being you.
Yeah, in other words, tell the authorities I'm me and off with you, right?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to love who you are.
What the hell are we rock and roll for anyway, right?
Yeah.
You know, I love the theater people because all they do is do what people tell them to do. Well, that's not rock and roll. So, you know, and it's not a put down to them. It's just two different worlds. They come into our world thinking, oh, I'll be a great record star because I'm a great movie star. It doesn't work that way. Two entirely different mindsets. So, okay, so you're feeling really good there. You feel like you're saying, you know, I'm going to be me. I don't care what you all think. Now this pre-chorus comes in. What is that about?
It's basically live a life of love. All we need is trust. Telling people you gotta be free. Just singing that part. Just telling them. Just don't worry about what the people think. Just be you. Okay,
cool. Now this is interesting, everyone, about how complex emotions and this whole subject is. Here we've gone from what you feel directly. You know, this is all about me. This is how I feel. I don't want to be controlled. I want to be me. I want to be in my own skin. Now you've switched over to now I would like you to share that with me. So now you're singing outward a little bit more. It's not quite so internal. So what is the feeling of communicating to someone? What do you feel when you say that to someone? When you say, I want you to be free. I'm really enjoying this. This is great. You know, I'm sorry that, you know, in effect, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but in effect, you should never live that way. You know, you should be free. You should be in your own skin. You should be happy. You should be comfortable. What does it feel like to you to give that advice?
What does it feel like to me? It feels like, you know, I don't know. It's just, you just say it. I believe it.
Yeah, okay, good.
I believe it.
Is that exhilarating? Is it upsetting? Is it frustrating? Is it angry?
No, it's like conviction. It's like, you know.
By the way, Melissa has an advantage on all of us.
How is that?
Most likely, she is the daughter of a Baptist preacher. And there's no other place to get such great emotional training as she's had. Sorry, I can't give it. They do. I can work with it. I can explore it. I can add on to it. But those preachers are some of the greatest vocal pre-producers on the planet. And that's exactly one of the reasons. Is everybody there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. Everybody was so still, and your picture disappeared. Anyway, point is that you've been living your life this way, which is fantastic. You know, the rest of us, we're kind of like trying to figure it all out. You know, how do we be like Melissa? You know, how do we be like your favorite, Whitney Houston? How do you be like Anita Baker? You know, how do you be like Aretha Franklin? You guys have all had that background that we haven't had. So it's a little bit unfair here that Melissa's going to catch on to this so quickly. All right, so this time when you sing that pre-chorus, actually let's do the verse first. And by the way, this is an interesting thing in production. A producer brought it up. It may come up in our questions, which we're not going to have much time for today. But last time a producer said, well, I don't like working section by section on a song, and I agree with him. This is strictly, you know, rehearsal. It's getting you ready. When you go into track, you know, I agree with the process of you singing the whole song, you know, maybe 4 or 5 times, and then he does the editing after that. So we're going to have you do the first verse, have that emotion, that story, that whole being of Melissa come into that pre-chorus, and that pre-chorus is just going to explode right into that chorus as far as your internal emotions. Not note-wise, not volume-wise, and not any of that stuff. Just what you're feeling inside, that exhilaration that's coming for the chorus. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to sing it now?
Yeah. You can sing it a cappella or with the music, either way.
Okay. Time for you to believe in what's right and open your eyes. Don't let go of your pride. Feel what's right, and you'll come alive. You just gotta believe and be free. Live a life of love. All we need is trust. You gotta.
Okay, so I just had a little trouble between where does the pre-chorus end and the chorus start?
It was a trying to think of it. And you'll come alive. You just gotta believe and be free.
Okay, so that's a pre-chorus.
Love. Yep.
Okay, so you got an interesting thing in the melody. Let's talk about that for a second. Like Mott so geniusly said, this can be like a car wreck, you know, or neither one of us know what's going to happen here. So, you know, I got to think about this for a second, just like a producer would, just as you would as a writer. You're going from a very high pitch.
Yeah.
Come alive, which is, wow, I mean, it's killer, you know. Really drew me into you, and then all of a sudden you dropped melodically.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean it's bad writing. What it means is that it takes, you got to go to a different energy now. You can't rely on the high note to express the exhilaration of those lower notes. You've got to use, well, again, always back to internal feelings. But one thing that might help you is to use a little bit more rhythm. I don't know what's happening with the music there. So go ahead and sing it again and sing, come alive, and then go right into that section. I'll show you what I mean.
Come alive. You just gotta believe and be free. Live a life of love. Okay,
good. You already got part of it. Okay, so now even more. You just gotta be free. You know, I mean, I can imagine, you know, the drums really kicking ass on there, and a horn section, and, you know, however you want to, you know, I know you've already done this, Paul, but if you could give us a little bit more of that in your voice, I think we'd feel that emotion better.
Okay. And you'll come alive. You just gotta believe and be free. Live a life of love. All we need is trust. You gotta.
Okay, tell me what you felt that was different.
The Come Alive. I remember you telling me about the vowels on that.
Yeah, you're doing great on that.
And,
doing great on that, by the way. She's only had a week with that, guys. It's so much better. You won't believe if you'd heard the way it was before. And I don't mean it was bad. I just mean it's that much better.
Oh, thank you. And the Come Alive, I felt I didn't have to reach, like you told me before, going up. I've just directly put it out.
And what about the rest of the section, the pre-chorus now, where you just right after that? Emotionally, what did you feel different, physically, emotionally, as a musician, as an artist?
I could reach more.
Reach what?
Internally, I could reach more.
Yeah. Instead of me giving my opinion here, since we got a little bit of a panel,
yeah.
Did anybody happen to see any facial expression changes in Melissa when she sang it that last time? Anybody chirp in?
I'm over. I can't be of help. I'm over here adding people to the Hangout.
Okay, whoever can chime in.
Ricky,
Hallie.
Ricky, you're on.
Ricky?
Yeah, I'm here. I definitely could notice the difference in the dynamics and the emotions. You know, yeah, and I think Brad is definitely right. Allowing the high notes to carry you is not always the best option, but more so allowing the emotions to carry the high notes, you know? So, yeah.
But did you see her face? Were you watching her face, or were you just listening?
Yeah, sorry about that. Got some sirens nearby.
We're in LA, everybody.
Right? I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, were you watching her face at all?
Yeah. Yeah,
Did you see any difference in her facial expressions?
Well, I noticed that she was able to kind of not necessarily control her face, but allow her face to ease into the emotions rather than letting her face control the emotions. You know what I mean?
Right on. Okay, Ricky, did you see anything?
Actually, frankly, I wasn't concentrating on the visual too much. I was just trying to listen to it. But I could make quite a remarkable difference in the chorus section. It was sounding beautiful in the last attempt. Okay,
so you could hear it. All right. Well, let me tell Melissa what I saw. So Melissa, you go back online. Everybody can go back off. What I want you to know about Melissa, that I saw, and had this been like, had it been your video director, this would have been like really cool, because I would have said, you know what, now I saw the words in your face. I didn't just hear them.
You saw it.
I saw them. When you said the word love, there was a little grin on your face, which wasn't there before.
Yeah.
You see, so here's you kind of talk, you know, one of the discussions that Melissa and I had, and I don't, you know, obviously I don't control anyone's fate. That's not my job. But she asked me, you know, could you recommend a stage performance person? And I said, well, you know, I think, and I asked her some questions about what kind of an artist she wanted to be. If she wanted to be the Whitney Houston, blah, 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 blah. And she said, yeah, I want to be that. I want to be that. I want to be the true artist. I want to really feel what I'm doing. So I suggested she not go to choreography, because then that just adds one more thing to the brain to make you think about how your hands are doing this, and, you know, oh, smile, darling. Here, you know, for everybody modeling. So we want to keep out all of that out if we can, but your stage presence changed just right then. And if there'd been a camera on you on that, you know, on stage, and the big screen behind you, people would have seen it very, very clearly, and they could already hear it. And that's a great thing about a live concert, is, you know, they can close their eyes and they can already hear it. So, you know, you really don't need to have all these hands moving and facial expressions and, you know, when we're in concert. As long as you feel it like you just did, and it all just comes out. I couldn't see your hands, but I'm sure they were moving. Your upper body moved a little bit. I felt you more rhythm. That's why I said, you know, sometimes when we write something, and you're a very good writer, we write rhythm in to accent certain emotions.
Yeah.
We do it subconsciously.
Yeah, we do.
And all I did was bring that out, just happened to mention it. It was all you. You just brought it out, happened to mention it, and then you're all of a sudden, dun, 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 you know, and then all of a sudden those words have no meaning, and we could feel your story.
It's kind of like, you know, pulling a Rolodex of emotions.
Yeah.
When I sing sometimes, I'm serious. It's like I have to, certain songs, and it's because sometimes you might not be in that mood, and you have to think of something in order to bring you to that place. Because if you don't do that, you find that you're not projecting that emotion out, and then people don't really believe it.
Well, and to take that one step farther, you're not even feeling it.
Exactly. You're just singing words, and getting a notes out, and then people are just like, okay, it's a cool song, but you know, you're not really feeling it.
Yeah, and frankly, my argument as an artist is, why should I pay you if you don't even feel your own music?
Exactly.
Why should I want to come to your show? You know, I just heard recently about a girl in Nashville who, you know, how one of the little show clubs there, you know, they'll have guests all throughout the evening, and the cover is $10 for everybody else. But when this girl comes on, they come around, they get another $15 from you, or you leave. That's how much they like her more than everybody else. That's what she did. You know, that she offered something, she gave something. She didn't sit back and say, well, I'm singing, so you should pay me.
Yeah.
Okay, now wait. What did she give exactly?
She's giving her soul, her emotions, her
emotional
music,
experience.
Yeah, her emotional experience. She's feeling things, and so people are willing to pay extra for that, rather than the others who apparently are just up there giving out a bunch of notes. Most producers know this instinctively, and I'm not telling them anything new. The problem is the singers don't know it. And so one of my goals here, and what we all just saw happen with Melissa there, is now all of a sudden Melissa's more aware of it. And as Melissa and I continue to work further in the future, all these things will become more and more organic, more and more second nature, more and more part of her. And we're all just going to want to pay, you know, I mean, I know this is not the goal, but we're just going to want to pay you more money. Not that you're asking for it, because as soon as you ask for it, we won't want to pay it. But when you give, we're just like, please do it again.
It's a vibration. It's like for anything, like if anybody ever saw Luther Vandross, I remember going to his concert as a kid, and the man was in perfect pitch, but it wasn't that. It was It was that he gave the emotion when he sang.
And that's what you guys learn in church. You know, it's not fair.
You know what? I'm going to say something. I've met people who never had a lick of church in their life, and they are soulful. So
I know, but they're not the norm.
It's not church. It's not church. To me, it's a spiritual thing. It's a vibration people give out. It's a vibration.
But if there's a place to nurture it, that I've seen, the best place to nurture that I've seen, besides me, is Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll send anybody to a Baptist church. You want to learn how to sing, you want to bring out more feel in you, go to Baptist church. Atlanta's killing everybody right now with all the gospel singers. They're white coming out of there, just killing the marketplace. Okay, so I guess it needs to be questions time. Unfortunately, we unfortunately spend a lot of time just getting on live, but that was great. Like I said, Melissa was able to make a huge difference with a very small amount of information. So, you know, you will find, you know, someday somebody's going to be on here that I'm going to have to work harder at this, but and it'll be good for you guys to see that, because sometimes it'll be harder for you. But Melissa was wonderful. Thank you, Melissa.
No problem.
I have a question. The face controlling the emotions. Could you talk about that?
It was the other way around. The emotions controlled the face.
Right. No, Hallie had said something about face. Like sometimes you can have the face controlling the emotion, and I understand the emotions affecting the face. Wait, Hallie, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah.
When you spoke about the face controlling the emotion, could you clue me in as to what you're talking about? Because I've never even thought about that right there.
Yeah, it's actually, I was in a session with Brad yesterday, and we were discussing this because I noticed when I was working on high notes with him, my face would just like make this really big cheesy smile, and it would cause my notes to become a little bit more distorted and less richer, you know. And he told me to practice bringing in my mouth a little bit more like this instead of letting it smile like that, so that the notes can become richer. And the whole point of that is exactly what we just said, like allowing your emotions to control your face. And it's just a lot of practice to be able to do that, because not only do you want to have good pitch and good sound, but you also want everything else to fall into place too. It's your job as a singer to own your craft and also to entertain people and make them feel something by the time it's over. You know, you don't need to necessarily exaggerate your face. And one of the singers that we were discussing that did such an amazing job with that was Whitney Houston. Whenever she would hit a high note, her mouth never did this. She always kept the rounded notes, and that's why she was able to maintain them so well. And people felt that. And it didn't take away from her emotion. If anything, it allowed it to exceed the expectations of it.
Well, guys, I'm sorry. I feel like a real bum because we only got a half hour in, but I've got to move on to my next client. But you know, if you guys want to keep going, I think everybody on this panel has got great knowledge. If you guys want to keep talking to each other, Hallie's point is very good. It's more about technique than it is feel, but she's right. That's where technique can get in the way, or not technique, but facial expressions or bad habits can get in the way of expressing emotions rather than help them. Sometimes it's the other way around. A voice teacher will come in and say, no, don't ever smile because, you know, that's bad vocal technique. Well, what if you're happy? Cut that out. There goes the feel. So, you know, I don't agree with that advice either. Thanks so much, you guys. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks again, Maud.
See you in 2 weeks.
You're so good.
Take care of Hallie.
Bye, Brad. What did you say, Matt?
I told Brad I'd see him in 2 weeks when he takes care of you.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I already got it marked in my calendar.
Are you able to do what Brad is doing, like grab another singer and do that to them yet, Hallie?
What do you mean?
Like what he just did with Melissa B. Are you able to grab a singer and like do the emotional stuff with them, where you tell them what to do?
So basically train them?
Yes.
I try not to, because singers are emotional creatures.
Don't say.
Yeah, I don't always do that unless it's someone that I know very well that's in within my circles of singers who are like, hey, I noticed that you're able to hit that high note and I'm struggling with it. What is your technique? And then, I'll offer some advice that I've picked up from Brad. But I won't necessarily walk in on that because I don't know what their journey is. I don't know what they're doing. So for me to just walk in and see them singing like, hey, no, you got to do it this way, that to me is just overstepping. Unless they see me singing and they want to know how I did something, that's really the only time I'll offer that advice.
Okay, I asked because on our journey, one of the best ways to learn is to teach. And so if you ever get to a point,
oh my gosh, yes, it's so true. It is so true.
Changes the whole perspective. Like Melissa B is just starting, and Melissa, I can't wait for you to come and say, yeah, I have my little nephew, and I got him to blah blah blah. Because that right there, you have to pull stuff out. Like when you have to actually teach somebody, and forbid if they ask a question, and you have to actually come up with an answer.
It's definitely very, very, very true. I discovered that because I also play guitar. I've been playing for roughly 4 years, and I'm self-taught. And when someone asked me to teach them guitar, I was like, I taught myself how to play. I don't know how to teach you. And so that's when I had to really start to immerse myself in more theory and figure out why I do what I do and what notes I'm playing so that I am able to teach. And that's why it is the best way to learn, because someone challenges you to teach them, you force yourself to learn so that you can help. And in return, it helps yourself too.
Exactly. Melissa, what was the song that you were gonna do originally?
Oh, a song I wrote called Maria.
Can I hear a little bit of that, please?
You want me to play it, or
Acapella.
Oh, you want me to sing it a cappella?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In the night she prays to God, hoping for a better life and better days ahead. She smiles, staying strong, even through all the pain, taking all the blame. She keeps moving on. Do you even wonder what she's going through? Do you take the time to see her beauty shine through? She never asked for too much. All that she ever wanted was affection and true love. Do you really know what Maria goes through? What Maria goes through? Do you see her smile? Do you know what Maria goes through? What Maria goes through? There you go.
Yeah, Brad needs to be here so he could. Oh, that's yeah, I could see that like making some people cry. What? Tell me about that. Tell me about that song.
That was a song I wrote about. I wrote it with my cousin and my producer, but it's a song about my grandmother and my mother, and it was about a parallel in two women's lives, and how history can repeat itself in life, and how women are, just like women go through the same things, and every woman is Maria. It's
So your grandmother and mother went through the exact same things you're saying?
It's funny because when I wrote it, it's like when I write like I see a music video. I know it sounds funny, but if I can't visually see it, I can't write it.
Okay.
I see things in pictures. So when I was writing this, I was going through the emotions of going through what I've heard, what my grandmother went through, and then remembering what my mother went through. And it was funny how I was comparing both of their worlds of what they went through with the men in their life, and how a woman can be dedicated in a relationship, and how sometimes the man doesn't see everything a woman does. It was so simple of, do you see her smile? After everything that she's done for you and she's gone through, do you even see the simple thing in life? And that's a woman's smile.
And this is something that you experienced also?
I never said that.
That's what I'm asking. That's why I'm asking, because if
yeah, I would say yes. I would say that I'm a part of that. I would say my sister's a part of it. When I've sung, I actually tested this song out, just like performing it live. And I've had so many women come up to me telling me that they felt that they were Maria, that I was singing about their life. I even had a woman stop my song who heard it and cried, couldn't even hear the rest of the song. Like, she stopped at the first verse. And she told me, "You're singing about my life." And I was like, wow, that's powerful. And just to let you know, when I sung the song in the studio, I was crying the whole time through the production, through the recording. I could send you the song so you could hear it.
And I would love that. And you were crying because?
Because I could visually see my mother and my grandmother and just all the women in the world who go through what they go through. I'm a emotional creature. Just like what Hallie says, we are emotional, we get like that. But when you can take yourself into that place and you can bring it there and bring it out, that's how I was feeling. I was feeling what they were feeling. And it made me cry.
When I heard it, like Hallie typed down there, beautiful, that it hit me. I was like, oh, this is one where you dive in and try to bring out every morsel of the emotion, every word. Ricky, you want to chime in? You got any?
It's just beautiful. To me, the emotions came out very, very strongly, and I mean that I would have loved to listen to it with the arrangement too, because I would have loved to see what the producer has brought in. But a cappella, it was just amazing.
Well, hold on a second. Let me get I'll give you the link. I'll give you a private link right now. So we can just not talk about it.
Yeah.
You can actually hear it. Hold on one second. Let me get it.
You heard what he said, though, right? He wants to see what the producer decided, what choices the producer made.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it was me. A guy actually composed the music, but writing it and vocally arranging it and everything was me and my co-producer, Michael Ashby. We did all this together.
Yeah, because what happens is that it sort of becomes difficult to judge music individually, because at the end of the day, the world is going to listen to it with the arrangement. So it's always great to see how it, because an arrangement can make or break a beautiful vocal track.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny because a lot of people tell me, they're like, there's a link, I sent it to you. A lot of people, I don't know if you have SoundCloud, but you have to have SoundCloud to get into it. I find myself, when I'm doing songs or anything, it's like I've always said, I've been listening to music and I've been listening to where music has been going, and I don't see a lot of singers singing with emotion. It's like they're just singing. I don't see any potential Whitney Houstons of the future right now. I don't see them. And just like Patti LaBelle said, she goes, I'm getting tired of all these female singers saying they're divas. You have to own that. It's so true. It's, it's so hard to even, I don't even say it. you know, I'm a diva, because I'm not. I'm just a musical instrument that has a vibration that I'm giving out. And that vibration that I'm giving out is about love, and it's about healing. These are the things that, as when I was 5 years old, these are the things I thought about. I don't know, I'm just a different type of singer.
The reason that I asked you to sing it a cappella is because without the arrangement, if there is something there emotionally, there's a chance for me to actually hear it better without anything possibly distracting. Because a lot of music that'll be added actually takes away, or it might force you down a path whereas the emotion was meant to go to the left, the arrangement is doing something to the right or somewhere else. And that's where it's like a producer or composer really needs to listen to what you're saying, what you're conveying, and then you know, try to bring that out more. If anything, support that and bring that out more. Like we'll have these tracks that our guys will make, and this, you know, people will write to that track, and that we come up with some cool stuff, right? But I found it's more powerful. I find those tracks limiting. I put it that way. It's limiting. Like right now, if I needed to say, you know, Hallie, you're cool, but the track is over here saying, hey, what's cracking?
Mm-hmm.
I now have to say, hey, Hallie, you're what's cracking? Like, or hey, Hallie, you're cool. Instead of, you know, Hallie, you're cool. See the difference? Like, I'm forced to do what the track is trying to have me do. Whereas what I really want to say is, man, Hallie, was cracking. Like, say it like that or whatever. Like, that track forces me to do something when naturally, and you know, the natural flow of what I'm doing is in another direction. And so like that's why I say I wanted you to sing it a cappella, because when I do that, a lot of singers, well, sometimes the singer will come and sing it exactly like what was in the track, and then I'll say, okay, now sing it like you're actually talking to me, communicating to me, which eventually I get them to actually sing it. It's totally different than what's in the track. It ebb and flow a whole different direction.
Yeah.
And but when all this music is going on, like I said, a lot of times I don't get to what this song is really about. And like right there, when you sang it a cappella, I was like, oh, hold on, that's nice. I don't even remember fully what you sang. I remember what I felt. And I remember feeling, ooh, this is a rabbit hole we could go down and really bring some stuff out. Joseph, you got anything?
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Hey, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I could tell immediately within the first 3 seconds when you started, when you got your pipes going on that tune, on Maria, there was a difference, and I was going to ask you what you thought the difference was, but you already explained that very well. That song came from a different place when you wrote it than the song that you sang first. And so, you know, that question, obviously, you answered, like I said, you already answered it. You explained where that song came from. And it was evident it was just evident immediately. Something else that I would like to kind of chime in about, Mahat, is I've noticed that some of the songwriters who have been around, which I don't know too many, but they study artists so they know which artist to give their song to, or to market that song to, because some artists might be able to say, hey, what's up, and not be able to do what the track is doing, but another artist might hear the track and say, yeah, that's how I say what's up, you know, that's how I feel, you know, how I want to do it. So they get attached to that song, even though they didn't write it, they had nothing to do with the process. It's, you know, I don't really know today how many of the great singers are writing their material. It doesn't seem to be something that is, at least that, you know, where I'm at, in the circle that I'm in, there's a lot of outside writers that are giving tracks to the people that I'm working with, and it's very, I can usually see really quick when performers kind of faking it, where they, you know, where people are telling them this is a really great song, we want you to do it, but they're not getting it. It's just not in them. You know, they're not feeling whatever it is about the tune. It's just not bringing out in them anything that they can deliver it in a way that is convincing. But then you give them a different tune, and it might be a whole different story. Then they're going to knock it out of the park, you know. But, no, it's really good, man. Thanks for calling me up on this one.
You know what, Melissa? You hesitated when I asked you, has that happened to you? Why? Gotta unmute yourself.
I am unmuting myself.
Okay.
I just really can't say that my life has been comparison to what I wrote with Maria. But can I say that I've been through things in relationships in my life? Sure, I can say that. I just didn't want to say, yeah, I've been through exactly the same thing, because I haven't. That's why I was hesitant. But okay. Am I singing about myself? No. When I actually wrote this, I was actually thinking of my grandmother and my mother when I wrote this song. And I was thinking of the women in the world that don't have a voice. You know, it's all about, you know, it's about women who give their all, and that how sometimes they can be just taken for granted, and how a man can hurt a woman. You know, there are men in the world that can hurt a woman, and that was what this was about.
There are men in the world that could hurt a woman. Yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah, we can hurt women. Yes. Okay, question. Would you have sang that song differently if you had sang it from your perspective of you being her?
I think I would have.
Have you ever tried that?
Well, I have a song called Love Me, so that song is about something that I want, but that's more of a sensual song. It's not something like it's heartfelt. You see what I'm saying? So you're now going into a different emotion now. So
right.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes I write stuff and it's things I can't even say. Like, because I'm such a shy person, like, I'd rather say it out of my music and sing it than say it verbally.
So it's, you know what, boo? Here's a song I wrote, and I need you to listen to this. I'll be over here waiting.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Like, my Love Me song was a love letter, basically. It was my love letter that hey, what better way than to express it through you singing it and saying it that way than having them just to read a letter. But you can basically vocally say it in a beautiful way, in an arrangement. It's so beautiful.
Now you wouldn't actually walk up to that person and sing that to them?
No, I'd be too embarrassed.
You know that's like Motown. That was their thing, like Marvin Gaye seeing you in the audience, walking up to you and singing it directly to you, making your man mad, ready to cut both of y'all with a knife.
Yeah, I heard stories like that in those days.
Yeah, that right there is powerful. I asked you about singing the same song from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Because I found out after, you know, guys were telling me stuff to do, I found out how potent that was. Because we would have, say Hallie walked in, and we'd have this singer, male or female, whatever that song is, say it was a song that you sang, we'd have that person sing it to Hallie and adjust it to singing to Hallie where it was personal. Then when Joseph walked in the door with that thing he's smoking, he'd walk in, he'd blow smoke in her face, and she'd start singing, that singer would start singing to him the exact same song, but specifically for him, and do it for every person that walked in. And it got done. We got to see the same song totally different. It was really different. And I would hear Billie Holiday and other people talk about that they wouldn't sing the same song twice. And I thought, okay, it's just a jazz thing. They just do a little bit of different whatever. But this gave me a whole different perspective. A little boy walked in, and the singer had to sing it to this little itty bitty boy. and then sing it to a grandma, and make it personal. And I'm telling you, it was a different experience. It's the same words, total different experience. And that's why I was asking, because your song could actually be quite a few things. You could do 5 videos, and depending on what, have people watch 5 videos and come back crying for different reasons on each one. And each night that you sing, you go out and sing. You could go out and pick a different person out in the audience, and decide to, mess the audience up. We come there and watch a show 5 nights in a row and get 5 different performances because you picked 5 different people out, and just blow our minds. We never get tired of watching you. And that was one of the things that I learned from these old school cats explaining this to me. And the first time that I actually experienced anything in this area that made me go down this path was I was listening to a Motown song, something that everybody would know, right? And it's by, I believe it was Smokey Robinson who wrote it. And then I heard the Supremes singing the same song, except on this one, the production was completely different, and the words weren't exactly the same. But after that song went off, and the guy said, "That was such and such by the Supremes. It had the same name." And I was like, "What? Like, that's not." And it hit me. These guys were regurgitating songs, but actually rewriting them a bit, and the performance was totally different. And
hey,
who said that?
No, it was me.
Yes.
I was going to say, what you were saying is absolutely true. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
If everybody remembers when Michael Jackson sung, When I Had You, right? You know who originally sung that? That was a Smokey Robinson song. And every time Smokey Robinson would sing that song, everybody would say, "Why are you singing the Jackson song?" He said, "I wrote that damn song. It's mine." But the emotion that Michael Jackson took it at his young age, a young kid had that emotion. What would he know about stuff like that? And bring that, he owned that. Anybody who ever tries to sing that, that's a hard song to sing. And you remember when In Vogue, did their little piece on their song.
Beautiful piece, yes.
Right? But remember, the key person who took it, and even though it was a Smokey Robinson song, Michael Jackson owned it. And they recycled that song because they knew that he would take it to another level.
Yep. The question is, what was he think? What in the world was this kid? Did he have in his head to sing about that made him bring out that emotion? Any idea?
I don't know. I've never even. I don't recall seeing any videos or any interviews of him ever saying how he felt. I think it was more of him just like him saying that's how he it was just there. He was just it came from a different place. That's what he would always say. Whenever he was singing, it came from higher above. It just came from a different place.
Hallie, go ahead and chime in, of course.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure what to say or if I could say anything, so thank you.
Of course.
Going back to what you were saying, Melissa and Matt, in regards to how the heck did this kid pull out this emotion? I actually experienced that situation. I was working with Nick Cooper. He's a vocal coach out here in Los Angeles, and he puts on a boot camp every summer for kids who are have already penetrated the entertainment business, and basically they're honing in on their craft. And I saw 2 little girls. They have an extremely huge following on YouTube. And their names are Hallie and Chloe Bailey.
Are they twins?
They're not twins. They're about, I think, a year or 2 apart, I believe.
Sisters, right?
Pretty close to looking like twins.
Yeah, and they're the most amazing, beautiful, talented young girls. And I got to spend a whole 2 weeks with, well, actually a week and a half. They had to leave early, and I sat down with them for a bit. helping them out and training them. And I asked them, I said, where are you getting this from? Because it was a specific song that Chloe was working on. It was a song that she wrote. And the things she was talking about, I was like, dude, when I was your age, I wasn't writing anything remotely like that. Where did it come from? Have you ever experienced this before? And she said, no, I haven't. And I was just saying, okay, well, how did you do that? What is your secret? And she said, I don't know. I think it's just being around and being present and observing. Not a lot of kids have that quality, but some do, just like Michael did. He had the quality to be able to sit there and observe. He may not have been able to necessarily relate to it, but he was able to observe to the point where he could manipulate the type of emotions to the point where he could hone it in for himself, because he was just that naturally, emotionally and mentally intact with himself as a person. And really, it's just about confidence, and age is definitely relative, but when it comes to confidence, not all the time. When you just have it, you have it. So it's not always about experience. Experience makes it better, because as you can see, as Michael Jackson grew, he got better and better and better and better over the years, because he was able to experience the things he sang about as a kid,
So true.
So to be able to observe and take it in and be present, rather than just hearing, but listening and understanding it, that really made a difference. Because when I even started writing, I wasn't writing about, anything too in-depth or too heavy when I was younger, but I was still able to evoke certain emotions that people look at me like, whoa, how did you do that? Where did that come from? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And later on, I figured it out. It was just because I was really good at mimicking, other great artists, and that's a huge difference too. You can't expect to be the greatest if you don't study the greats. And that's what made a huge difference too. Like Michael Jackson, he sat there and studied the greats. He loved James Brown. James Brown was a pioneer. He was ahead of his time.
Yep.
And that's what you do. You study the greats to become great. And when we were discussing before, Melissa, when you said that I don't know if there's going to be another Whitney Houston this generation, and because the problem is everyone's so caught up on the quick fixes of music, just
Exactly.
the regular 4 chords, C, G, A minor, F, creating just beats and arrangements and not really honing in on the emotion and studying the craft. You ask a pop singer, a little kid pop singer today, who do you look up to? They're going to say Michael Jackson because everyone else says it, and then they're going to say some other pop singer like One Direction or someone like that, and it's like you can't really look to these people to help make a path for you. You need to go back. You need to go back to the doo-wop. You need to go where the bands really did start.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you don't know where you came from, you're not going to know where you're going, and that's especially true in music, especially. So.
And I agree with you, Hallie, on that. And the other thing is that there are some artists, like even for myself, my dad would always tell me, you're not going to get to that emotion until you truly experience it, or there's something tragic in your life has happened. And sometimes those open doors, or there's a special place that opens up that you're able to express more. And I never understood that until my father passed away, and that was an emotion I've never experienced in my life, and I stopped singing for 2 years because it was too hard for me to even express myself, singing, even singing at my father's funeral was very hard for me. And I'm saying this because it's as a singer, as an artist, we go through things in life, and like I was saying earlier, you take your Rolodex of emotions, and these are the things that you have as tools in order for you to bring out those things so that people can feel what you're feeling.
Well
So,
said.
yeah.
Very true.
Did you
Well
write a song about your father or dedicated to your father?
No, not yet.
Are you going to be able to?
No, actually, I take that back. I have written a song, and it's a song called Breathe.
Breathe?
Breathe.
Okay, why breathe?
When I was writing it, and it's so funny, it's an actual, if I played this for you and you heard it, it's like a dubstep. It's a dance. It's not a dance, but yeah. I thought about my father taking his last breaths because he died at home. And I said to myself, I was thinking spiritual, and I said, it's funny, when you take your last breaths and your spirit goes, you don't, everybody says they don't know where it goes, but I was envisioning what he must have been thinking when he was taking his last breaths. And then I said, what happens when you're born? You take your first breath. You breathe in life. Every emotion, every moment, you take a breath. When your child is born, when you're graduating from school, you breathe and say, oh, I did that. When you get married and you see your wife walking down the aisle, you take your breath because she's so breathtaking. When you done something and you've accomplished it and you go, oh, God, I did that, you breathe. So that was what the song was about, and I was envisioning my father taking his last breath and then basically reincarnating, coming back, and breathing as a child.
And you were with it?
Going through that.
You were with him? You were with him when he took his last breath?
No, I was not with my father, but I did have an experience where I had an experience that I don't talk about, but I had an experience where I was actually in the moment with him when he passed away. And as soon as I woke up, I got a phone call, and it was literally no longer than 5 minutes after I had woken up, and he told me my father passed away, and I was in the moment with him, and I had a dream about it.
I know what you're talking about. I've had that. When my father died, I was right there with him, and it's funny because when you say breathe, as he was taking his last breath, and we knew he was taking his last breath, I was breathing. I was trying to make sure that I breathed every bit of oxygen in that room. Now, normally when you run from people's breath,
yeah,
I'm in there. When you say breathe, I'm in there making sure that I was breathing the air that he was exhaling. It was that type of thing. And I mean, that's actually what was running through my head, was I'm breathing in my father's last breaths. And so that whole concept that you're talking right there, it'll resonate. There are people that it's going to resonate with. If they hear those words and you make it a heartfelt delivery, that will get people, dubstep or not. You might want to try an acoustical or piano version where you really
I'm thinking
bring out
about
those
it.
nuances.
I'm thinking about it. I'll send it to you so you can hear it. I played it for my sister and my mom and them, and it's so funny because when people hear it, they're like, when they see my mom and them, they can't even hear it because they cry, because they know what the song is about, and my mom can visually see that.
Now, those people who don't have a clue what that song is about, if you were to do a version that made them feel it too, like a version where you don't have to give us the backdrop.
Yeah.
That right there, because that whole concept is powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ricky, anything? Hallie?
I think Ricky's just listening.
Yeah. And Hallie, I have a question
I think
for
we're
you.
overwhelming him.
Allie, I have a question for you if you're still there. You had said, and be present in the moment. Why did you say that? What were you talking about? Like when you're singing or writing, whatever, you were saying be present.
Hold on, let me adjust my laptop. Okay, better? Cool?
You're straight, you're cool.
Alright, so one of the things we do often as human beings, not just in music, but just in life in general, is we'll probably take the time to show up, but we're not mentally there. We're not mentally there, we're not emotionally there. And it's the whole 9 to 5 mentality, you know? We wake up, we walk down the street, we pass by the same people. We don't bother to say hi, you know? Sometimes we do. And the worst thing that we do, too, is, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Okay. It's like you don't really know anything about this person that just walked past you. You're just saying, hi, I'm good. And really deep inside, they can probably be doing horribly. And you could probably be doing horribly. For instance, I was at the store yesterday, and the woman who was ringing me up, I said, hi, how are you? She was like, good, thanks. And then I grabbed my things. I was like, you don't know. How are you really doing? And she said, oh, I'm tired. Long day. And I said, well, you know what? It's almost over. You got this. And I fist bumped her, and she smiled, and I left, you know? So it's things like that. And, you know, that's just a life situation. Now in music, we get so used to listening to the same stuff over and over and over and over again. There's so many great artists out there, but we're not aware of them because we're only used to what we hear on the radio. You know, that's all we get on a normal basis. So that's why it's so important to make sure that when you're listening to these great artists, to be present, to listen and to hear and to feel. Allow yourself to be evoked in all of the senses that are involved in it, so that you can study it, so that you can feel it, so that you can learn it, you can live it, you know. We forget to live, and because we're so used to going through the motions of things rather than experiencing the motions of things.
Yep.
When you had said it, what went through my head was, you're singing to somebody, you want to be present, as in pay attention to them so that you can react to them. That makes it personal for the moment. So like, if I'm singing to Hallie or to Melissa, and trust me, you don't want me to do that, but if I were singing to Melissa and she wasn't reacting, or say she was on her iPhone and I switched the lyric up to say, is that iPhone so important to you, Melissa? And all of a sudden now she's engaged. Oh damn. Now I've brought her into the moment. That's what I was thinking that you, well, actually, that is still what you know what, it is what you're saying, because you even ended up fist bumping her. You brought her into the moment. So yeah, it is the same. When you were when I was asking about Michael Jackson, what was he thinking of? I pictured Michael Jackson singing to some toy that he probably destroyed, or a little cat that he had, like he sang to Ben the mouse, the rat. And I just pictured him actually putting that off onto that, singing, say he's singing to some cat that he actually used to put firecrackers under or whatever, and so he's saying, I treated you bad, wrong, my dear, but since you went away, you know, if he was, like, that's how I would picture him doing a song, since he obviously did not have that grown-up relationship, but it can be transferred over to something else. So Ricky, you're a producer. What do you think about all this, man? What's running through your head?
No, of course, it's from time to time, you know, because my main job in India, as I told you, was film score, and I do music for television commercials. So everything happens so fast many times, and you know, we just have to fake emotions at times, and many times even my productions, that is the music aspect of it, is faked, as in you know, I look at references where of different types of music which is actually eliciting the emotional response that I would like my music to have. since I just have a day to make the music, and I would try to get those elements in and try to get the same emotional response. So the things that many times I have to fake it because my job demands it. But at the same time, when I'm making music for myself or I'm making music for an artist, where an artist's emotion has to be brought out, a personal experience or an emotion, then I believe that my work is just accenting the composition, in the sense that accenting the composition and also the voice is usually telling a story emotionally and lyrically. So I'm also trying to make a parallel story through my music, sometimes completely counterpointing what the traditional arrangement probably you would expect out of it, or trying to do something completely different or going with the emotion completely. So this talk has been very inspirational for me, because I've realized that in my work too, one must sit back and discuss the song a lot more, and discuss the emotions behind it a lot more, and take probably 10 days in what I would normally take maybe 5 days to do. So take the time out and figure it out a lot better. Yeah.
Bro, I'm glad you got that out of this. Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually, and that's part of what Brad, his mission is that right there, where the producer and the singer get on the same page, and there's a learning that goes on, because it helps all of us get the results that we want. Melissa says that she has to go.
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. We put you on the spot. And
that's okay. I had a great time. Hallie, I would love to work with you. Ricky, I'd love to work with you too.
I feel the vibe. I feel the energy. It's all good.
Oh, girl, please. I'm telling you, I got some songs probably for you. Trust me.
Yeah?
Yeah, because she doesn't want to sing them. She doesn't want to be the one to say that stuff, Hallie. That's what it is.
No, I'm telling you, I got songs that sometimes you write stuff, and sometimes it's not necessarily just for you. You're writing it for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I write songs. I'm in the middle of writing a song right now, and sometimes songs take a while. People think it's like that. Sometimes it is like that. But when you're doing something that you really want to do really good on, and you really want to impress that person, it takes a while.
Yeah. Well, I put in the group chat right there. It's the links to my personal page and also my fan page.
Okay, great.
On them, and let's connect. Let's do it.
Awesome.
And see, Melissa, it's good that you're leaving for you, because I was about to ask you to sing a cappella the song about your father.
Ah! You I'm singing all day today. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that right there could get to you. We try to have experiences. It really is about having experiences. You go somewhere, and you have an experience. When you leave, you take that with you, and that's powerful. Is the experiences you guys are talking about. Yeah. But again, very appreciative of you coming on and doing this, Melissa.
No problem. Let me know what you think of Maria when you guys listen to it. I'd really like to hear your feedback on that.
Okay. Does anybody have anything to say to Melissa before she heads out?
I got one thing. Besides the fact that I think you're fantastic, I really do. There's only one thing that I noticed that I know that I do as a singer-songwriter too, and I noticed that you were doing as well. I kind of call it the singer-songwriter syndrome. A lot of times when we're singing and we get our own head, we forget to connect with the people around us, and our eyes are just constantly closed. Yeah. And I noticed you were doing that a lot in the songs every time you sang, and it made it harder for me to like kind of read you and read the emotions. That's why I just kind of looked away, and I had to just completely be involved in just my listening rather than visually seeing you too. And I'm not saying you're like this all the time, because we are on camera and things like that, but just thought I'd bring that up in case you weren't aware of it, or in case you are conscious of it and something you're working on, because I work on it too, you know what I mean?
No, Hallie, I thank you so much. It's so funny, because when I'm singing in front of people on a camera like this, I tend to do that. But when I'm on stage, I look at everybody.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. It's like, for me, this is like, okay, you gotta do this now. And that's like, oh no, it's like a little rabbit being in a little cage, you know? You're like, oh God, everybody's looking at me. But this is what we do, right?
Yeah.
So I
could
gotta
totally
work on that. I definitely will take that advice. I will work on that to look more into the camera and give the emotion. I'm gonna do it next time. Promise you.
Yeah,
All
make
right.
all of us
You
say
can
she's
call
looking
me
at
out on
me.
it too.
I'll do that. No problem. Okay, gotta go, guys.
All right, bye,
All right,
Melissa.
Melissa, you take care.
Bye.
And Ricky. Oh wait, one of you guys said something about the tone of the vocal or something. I think maybe it was you, Hallie. And what came to mind was Babyface. If I ignore Babyface's words and listen to his tone, he's whining.
Mm-hmm.
And same when he wrote John B's songs, he was whining. There's a whining sound, and that sound automatically does something to you no matter what. He could be asking for a glass of Kool-Aid, and it's a whining sound.
Yep.
And so like when we say when we're making music, you know, which instruments you pick and how you play them, that all matters.
Yep.
These guys will get up and actually try to penetrate you by choosing to do stuff like that. Like when Barry White would, hey baby, you know, that low, that had a function of getting to you, hit the sound of that, you know, these different pitches or whatever. Not just pitches, but just the tone, however you want to say that. So what do you guys say about that, huh?
I said the presence. You know, every iconic singer-songwriter has that particular presence about them where there's just something about them that they can automatically just draw people in. You know, another artist, for instance, that I love, Alicia Keys. It's the way she talks to people, because if you ever see her live, she'll sit there and talk with you for a bit before she sings, and her voice is just so inviting and so sultry and so just, I don't know, there's something really grabbing about it. So it makes you interested, like, whoa, I want to hear more. And then when she sings, it's like, you're sold. You're sold. But that's why it's so important to be more than just a singer-songwriter. That's why it's so important to be a person, you know, because those are different qualities that you bring in there. Babyface, too. You know, he knew that was a part of his sound, that was a part of his image, so he needed to make sure that he put it in there so people knew. It's what makes you iconic, you know?
We have this, there's this cat named Robbie Ice out here, right? He has a song called Cali Cali. And this thing has like a 10-second intro. And in this day and age, we'll say your intros have to be shorter, shorter, shorter. And I just said, to hell with that. Let's make an interesting intro. But the function of this intro is exactly what you said. Like in the movies when they have the commercials where you get time to settle in, you have this intro and it lulls you. And then when he comes on, it's it shocks you. So that's how we chose to do it. When you talked about Alicia Keys, when Alicia Keys starts talking, if I'm up like this as she's talking and she's like, hello everybody, and I'm Alicia Keys, and she does that slow chill, I go from this hyper to next thing you know, I'm like, go ahead, girl.
Yeah, you're just like, whoa, who's that? I mean, seriously? And it's like, it just goes to show that the hook goes beyond the song. It's also the person. It's also the atmosphere. It's the vibe. And one of the best parts about being a singer, and also the most dangerous part about being a singer, is the fact that we can easily manipulate a crowd once we're confident in ourselves. Because like even when you were discussing before about how all these artists can sing a different song and it all sounds different and like that, I've been in experiences like that where I've had to sing to a young woman a love song, you know, and I was like, oh, this isn't about you, but hey, I'm gonna make it work. And you know, and then there was a little kid too. Like I work with kids. I guess that's my day job. And I brought my guitar to work Friday, and they weren't used to me singing at all. Like they knew that I was really like kind of soft-spoken, very peaceful. But as soon as they heard me sing, like I tacked that guitar, and they're like, "Whoa, we didn't expect that from you. Like it was just it was something that just grabbed them. And I was singing love songs and things that they don't understand. They don't understand at all. But I took my usual like sultry self when I'm singing to adults, and I took it down to like a kid version, you know, where I was smiling at them through it and like making goofy faces at them through it. And that's what hooked them in, because kids want to feel that love. And then when the adults will walk by, I get a little bit more serious into it and things like that, and it attracted them. So I literally had like, you know, older women, older men, little kids like ages 6 to 10, and on top of that my boss. They were all just sitting there like surrounded by me while I was playing. And I didn't even necessarily realize that I was doing it until I started doing it, you know? And it's just about catering to your crowd.
You said one of the things you said is the hook being the person.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that.
It's not enough to be a singer-songwriter. You know, that's why there aren't many singer-songwriters out there that you hear on the radio that you don't hear all the time. It's always the same ones because they all have a particular presence and a particular branding. Like Usher, for instance. We all know him as the R&B singer, the smooth guy, the sexy man. That's part of his image. And then we take Adele, you know, entirely different. You know, she has an entirely different hook than Usher does, an entirely different grab that Usher does, but she still has an extremely like strong fan base. People know her as like this strong woman, you know, who sings these love songs and who's really creative. And then let's take someone entirely different who has nothing to do with them. Let's see. Iggy, that she just popped in my head. I was listening to her song earlier. You know, she doesn't go for the same thing that Adele or that Usher goes for. Hers is, you know, I'm here, you know, and I'm a rapper, and I'm a white female rapper, you know, feel my vibe. She has that strong thing, but she still maintains her like sexy, feminine, cool thing. So she attracts men, she attracts women, she attracts young girls, she attracts young boys. You know, she's able to grab in people. It's just about the overall person, because they're, you know, when you're looking up an artist online, the first thing that pops up is their image. You know, not a song. You go to the song after you look at their image because you want to see what they're all about. And that's part of the hook. And Usher, Adele, Iggy, they're all going to have different poses. They're all going to have different vibes in their photos. They're all going to have something different about them. But that's part of their hook. You know, how people look at them and how they envision them. And then they go listen to them.
So we're buying into the person.
Absolutely. That's why social media is there too, because we want to know everything about them. Like, what did you eat today? Or who are you hanging out with right now? Or where are you going right now? Like, it's all a part of it. It's just what it is now.
What other things do you like?
Yeah, they want to know that they can relate to you. That's what it's about.
Ricky, you got anything?
That's so true. Very, very true. Because the thing in India is, I'm not if you're aware of it, in India, we have, I mean, the predominant style of music is Bollywood, and that's basically music that is made for movies. And so we have a concept that, I mean, the culture in India, the culture in filmmaking in India is that the actors and the actresses, they do not actually sing in their movies. They only perform the songs. And the songs are actually sung by people known as playback singers. Now, the playback singers sing the songs behind the scenes, and they emote the music, and I mean, they emote the songs, they emote the words and stuff like that. And the actors and the actresses, they are the ones who actually perform the songs in the movies. Now, how it is taken one step forward is that when you have concerts where these songs are performed live, it's not the playback singers who are actually performing these concerts. It's the concerts are played on a CD, and the actors are just dancing and lip syncing these songs to an audience, because the audience wants to see the actors. They don't want to see the playback singers.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care who the playback singer is, because the thing is that the image of that voice and the image of that song is so deeply rooted with the actor that that, you know, people want to see the actor. And when we have compilation CDs, when we have compilation CDs of music in India, they are best of the actor's name. It's never best of the singer's name. So like you would have like best of, like let's say Tom Cruise, or best of George Clooney or something like that, when they haven't sung a song in their life, and it's all the songs that they've actually lip synced to and they've performed to on in the movies, but they haven't actually sung or composed. So the thing is that so that's what. So the image, I mean, there's an image which is tied to a song, which is really, really important. And here it's sort of proven that in India that that the personality of a song becomes very, very important when it is associated with a face. And that is the reason why the royalty system in India is so messy, because the singers claim that they have sung the songs, that's why they deserve a royalty, which is very true. And same thing with the composers. But then the actors claim that if anybody deserves a royalty, it is us, because we are the ones who actually make the songs popular, and it's our face which is there in the music videos and on the album covers. So it's a very warped system that is there in India, but it exists over here.
You mean they don't actually come together and say we all contribute and so we split it?
They tried doing that, but then there was a huge issue about the percentages. So as to who deserves the most, whether it's the actor, whether it's the lyrics writer, the composer, or the singer, or the director of the movie who has a creative say in the composition of the song and the writing of the lyrics. So so there's just too much of confusion, and that's why, unlike America and India, everything is work for hire and everything is owned by the producers of the movie.
Okay, wow, learn something new every day. Had no clue about it. All right, we're gonna have to bring it to a close. First, you, Ricky, is there anything that you would like to, educate us on or whatever before we close out, or any information you'd like to give out?
I mean, it is just a very informative session for me, actually. So, so for me, I'm just letting everything sink in, and I'm going to be, it's going to be part of my thought process for a really long time. So that's, yeah. So that's what I get out of it.
Have all the singers you work with watch this so they can be on the same page with you. That way, you guys will be speaking the same language.
Exactly.
What about you, Hallie? Anything before we head out? Anything you want to get out?
No, I think you guys pretty much said it all, and I really enjoyed the session. It was a lot of self-confirmation, for me and what I'm doing, and yeah.
How about the person in that red shirt?
Oh my God.
That's my mother, my biggest critic and music enthusiast.
Mom, is there anything you want to say about old school music, since that's what we're trying to head toward, is some of that old school stuff we needed in what we're doing? You don't want to throw anything at us, Mom?
No, thank you. No, I just enjoyed listening to the whole conversation. I wish that more artists would. Oh, come on, Hallie, put it down.
Hello, Mom.
Hi. No, I'm fine. You guys are good.
You are now on the internet forever. Because this is saved. Okay. Anything else, Hallie?
No, keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to connecting with both of you at some point. Matt, you're a lot closer, so it'll be easier. And Ricky, the internet makes it all possible. So
exactly.
Yeah. Internet. Ricky, have you ever? Do you actually write melodies for vocals?
Yes, a lot actually.
As in, you create the melody and then the singer uses that melody?
Yes, very, very often.
Have you ever done a counterpoint melody vocal? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I mean all the time, in fact.
Okay. Because I wanted, you had mentioned counterpoint, and if you come on again, and I remember, I'm going to ask you about counterpoint.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that we discuss, we'll probably automatically do it, but discuss talking about the song to the artist, like where you and I are talking about the song, you discussing this with the artist. So, like, go dive in, get with artists, discuss a song, do whatever you can, use whatever, and then when you come back on, I want to know about your experience, what you've learned, the different results that you've gained by doing that, by talking to the artists about what this song means, where they're trying to go, or whatever. Cool?
Perfect.
Okay. Hallie, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Pensado Students is the Facebook group. If you Ricky, if you're not a part of it, just hop on Facebook and type in do a search for Pensados Students, PENSADOS Students.
Got it.
Yeah, click to join. One of the admins eventually will add you. We talk about a lot of engineering stuff in there, and then there's a lot of songwriting. Well, we'll talk songwriting, producing, a bunch of stuff. Anybody wanting tutorials, you can groove3.com, proaudiofiles.com. There's a bunch of places, macprovideo.com. There's a lot of places out there for you guys to learn stuff. Pro Tools Experts, and oh man, Pensado's Place. If you guys are not familiar with Pensado's Place, Dave Pensado and Herb Trowick, Google Pensado's Place. Tons of videos. I think they're episode 184 or something like that. There's tons of stuff for you. So okay, we're gonna call it to a close. Hallie, you're the next victim. We're gonna have you singing and have Brad walk you through it. Hopefully we'll start on time so we can get the full hour with Brad, and have him really, put you through the ringer and make you cry. How's that?
I like crying. It's so therapeutic. I'm excited. And just to make sure, we're doing this on...
Not this coming Saturday.
September 6th. Okay, at 11 a.m.
Let me check on this Mac real quick. It would be... All right, one Saturday from this is the 30th, and so, yes, September 6th.
Okay.
So you're on. And Ricky, you're welcome to join us in that, bro.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're going to call it quits. I hope you guys got something out of this, and we're out.
Bye.
Bye.